Hey y'all, happy Sunday. Welcome to hour 11 of the Pit. Heather comes clean. That's what I'm calling it anyway. I'm pretty sure this is my favorite episode of the series so far, I guess. Um we open with Robbie coming in from sending Langdon home. Dana tells Robbie they have a woman in labor coming in, and Robbie tells Dana to go home. Dana refuses. Robbie tells her she's acting like him, and that ain't a good thing. Robbie is also agitated and on edge after firing Langdon and says he has to pee again. He also asks Dana to do a pharmacy audit on Langdon, and she's like, "Do you want to know?" And he's like, "You don't want this smoke." Robbie goes to the bathroom, counts out Earl's pills, is trying to collect himself, but is having flashbacks. Comes back. Princess and Perla are discussing Robbie's mood in front of Santos and Tagalog. I think that's how you say it. I'm so sorry. In their native tongue. As Robbie is pulling her aside to let her know that Langdon is handled, um, as she walks away, she responds to Princess and Perla in their language, and they're all, "I told you she was Filipino," and the one is like, "Nah, she's so fucking white." So I thought that was a really funny exchange. Teresa stops Robbie. David's social media posts seem to be escalating. Robbie corners Heather, and she tells him that she had a miscarriage and that she was doing IVF, and to leave her alone. She's fine. She needs to work. She needs to power through. They go into the trauma room with Natalie, the woman in labor. She is a surrogate for her gay best friends. One of them is her teaching partner. I think they share a classroom. Yeah, because she said share a room, share a womb, and they were like, "Stop saying that." Mel is super sweet in this trauma. Robbie checks on Heather. She tells him she's okay. Then we get Ivan. This patient, he's drug seeking. Mohan and Huckleberry start working him up. Huckleberry is skeptical. He doesn't think the guy's drug seeking, but Mohan is using her special sauce, following her gut. Um, and she's like, I told you you could spot the fakers, and I'm telling you, he's a fucking faker. Back to Natalie and Heather. Labor's not progressing, and things are getting kind of tense. Then we get McKay and the Chad. The Chad, the giant man baby. In walks Chloe, his girlfriend, with one of the most obnoxious shirts I've ever seen. It's like Barbie pink and it says bonus mom. And you can see how it flies all over McKay. And, she feels like Chloe's trying to take her kid and she's, oh, hell to the no. An ICU boarder bounces back with bleeding varices, and McKay has to catch that, and Victoria jumps in on that one. And remember, Victoria's very queasy around blood, and this woman is basically bleeding out. Sorry, y'all. Back to Natalie. Uh, they need Robbie in the varices trauma, but Robbie is literally up to his elbow trying to dislodge this baby's shoulder so they can deliver him. Robbie gets the baby out, but he's lethargic. And I'm telling you, this entire patient, I was very worried. Mel and Heather work on him, and they do get him crying. Robbie jumps to the varices, but she's bleeding now. We find out about the Minnesota, and I need to look that up because maybe it's got something to do with the Mayo Clinic. Why do they call it the Minnesota? This is what is it shaped like the state? Is it super fucking cold? I want to know. Back to Ivan. Mohan treats his opioid withdrawal, but Huckleberry is still dubious. Of course, they haven't had the proof yet that it's working yet. In the varices trauma, Dana tells Robbie that Langdon is calling. Back to Natalie. The baby is okay. And it's very sweet. Heather lets Mel hand the baby over to one of the dads. And it's a family is born. It's pure fucking joy. It's wonderful. And then Natalie starts to bleed out. They get the varices stabilized, and Langdon is blowing up Robbie's phone. McKay and Robbie talk shit about Dana not going home. And McKay's like, listen, no offense. I love Dana and all, but I never met a charge nurse that wasn't a full on raging bitch. Robbie jumps in to help Heather with Natalie and has the BFF talk to her and help keep everyone positive, help keep her conscious. It's very sweet because he's almost manic about it. Everything, you can feel it getting to him. Santos talks to Garcia about Langdon, and Garcia is pissed that Santos involved her at all. She's like, I don't want, keep me out of it, baby, keep me out of it. Um, Natalie is still bleeding, and it's not looking great, y'all. Ivan is feeling better, proving that he was, in fact, drug seeking. Ha ha! Natalie is stable. Heather has to excuse herself at the end of the trauma, and her life, like, literally just caught up with her. Verices is stable, but is going to need a new liver. Her daughter is very worried about her, and their story hits McKay in all of the feels. Victoria, she's not there yet on her journey with her mother, you know? Langdon is still blowing up the phone. Robbie meets Jake's girlfriend via FaceTime while they're at Pitt Fest. All right, the ambulance. Y'all, this is what I came for. It is so fucking beautiful and subtle, this scene. And my son and I had well, not arguments, but I asked him after we watched it, I said, do you think Heather was talking about Robbie? And he was like, no, surely not. And then we watched again. He was like, yeah, I think you're right. And then I did some research, and yes, she is referring to a baby that her and Robbie shared. Anyway, or she was pregnant while she was with Robbie, is what I should say. Robbie talks to Heather, who is taking a breather in the back of the ambulance. She opens up to him about how hard IVF is, says she thinks this is going to be the last time. It's expensive, it's emotionally draining, it's heartbreaking, and she just doesn't have it in her anymore. He tells her he's never seen her give up in a fight other than with him. And they talk about their past, and we find out that she ended a pregnancy when they were together because she wasn't sure about him and just wasn't in that place. And she never actually says the actual words, but this is confirmed later by the cast and the writers that is what she's referring to. And he forgives her, and he tells her that she needs to forgive herself. Again, tending to her needs while pushing down his own, because he also just found out something that impacts his life too. But Robbie sends her home, says, take a bath, turn off your phone. McKay gives Chloe a verbal smackdown in the break room. Very nice. We're back to Ivan, Mohan, Huckleberry, and Robbie. Y'all, whenever Robbie is stressed out, it seems to be that Mohan is his punching bag of choice. It really does. I wonder what it is that she triggers in him. Why it's her that triggers him like that. Anyway, he's tuned up with the patient, confronts him about his addiction, loses his shit, especially when you think about the Langdon of it all. In the end, though, he does have Mohan's back. He's like, no, you referred to her as Dr. Mohan. We also find out that Mohan's got dead dad behavior because she's got a dead dad. Huckleberry is impressed that she stands her ground and connects with her patients, though. Teresa's thinking about having David placed on a psych hold. Robbie encourages her to do so and talks about how young men get radicalized online, and it's an epidemic. Robbie returns Earl's Librium, tries to encourage him to get help, but is literally hitting walls all over the place. Mel is looking for Langdon, wants to tell him about the birth with Natalie and the dads. But Santos kind of blows her off to talk to Robbie. She's kind of second guessing her decision. Robbie reassures her, but you can tell he's super annoyed with her. Dana is smoking in the ambulance bay. Robbie lets her know that he sent Heather home, and tells her to go home. And she's like, "Yeah, fuck yourself. You'll die if I go home." We find out that Dana was born in the hospital, and she's worked there all her life. And she tells Robbie she thinks she's done, that Driscoll was the last straw. And honestly, I believe her. Their phones start blowing up. There is a shooting at Pit Fest. The end. So obviously, Jake's at Pit Fest with the girlfriend. Got to be worried about that. Y'all join me tomorrow for Manic Monday, where I'll do a quick recap of John Oliver and talk about everything I'm going to be watching next week. Mostly, it's going to be Love Island, baby. Take care, y'all. Bye.